very late evening, one time for your mind, one time for your mental, quite essential. Drinking and relaxing, it's a Friday night, no questions we're asking because we're alright. Hey, should we talk about Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders and how they're trying to give Donald Trump an advantage? It's interesting. Listen, Bernie Sanders should push for him. The reason why is because he represents what a real Democrat is supposed to stand for. What the Democrats now stand for is a corporate hybrid of what they used to be, a mix of democratic ideals verbally with a corporate approach to economics. No helping the poor, no really helping the middle class, just support the corporations, but act as if they support social equality and social mobility of the lower classes up to the higher levels of society. They don't. Because if you support corporate supremacy, then you know that the lower classes and even the middle class is going to have a ceiling on it. Because when you fund the corporations, they don't spend money on people. They spend money on themselves and buttressing themselves to make more money. That's common sense. But they spend it to say that they will actually let the money trickle down. If you give them more money, they get richer and they build more businesses and they give people jobs as a result. It doesn't work like that. They use the additional money to avoid more taxes and to build more businesses in areas where Americans aren't even located so that they can maximize their profits. No problem, do what you do, but at least admit to it. They don't admit to it. They pretend as if this isn't really what's going on. And it's really sad and unfortunate that people are distracted by the cell phone, the internet, this social media, just things that are esoteric, while our lives are controlled by these corporate people who are operating at such a high level that our little salaries that make us think that we should be okay and happy that we're making that, these people are manipulating things that in a way that makes it so that they make so much more than us. And not just that, the reason that they're making the money you can't even understand. I'm not hating on a business owner. I'm hating on a business conglomerate that will not share some of the wealth with the individuals in society which allow them to prosper. Capitalism is based on supply and demand. If you don't have a demand, your supply don't mean nothing. That's something no one talks about. If we don't purchase things, if we don't pay taxes in our salaries, rich people can't be rich. That's why they're supposed to donate something back to the society. Not enough to make them no longer wealthy, but enough to contribute to our bridges, our roads, our better schools. What if the corporations were looked at or tasked with providing funding for schools in poor areas near where they live? You know, the schooling is based on property taxes. So if you're in a poor community, your schools are going to be poor because the people are poor and the property taxes are low and the funding is not there to make the schools safer and better or bring in higher quality teachers. The wealthier areas are always going to have better schools because property taxes fund that. If corporations were able to give some of their profits to the property tax system or the schooling, as far as school districts, which would allow the schools to be improved, more services there, more resources there, more security there, more opportunities to create magnet schools which are basically situated at a higher curriculum level educationally so that kids can be college prepared. That would be a good thing. But they don't want to do that. They're making $10 billion and they say if I make $9,999,000, that's wrong. You're violating my rights. This is a community in terms of what America really is. We're 360 million people, but we live together. Yes, we're in our neighborhoods. Yes, we're in our homes. Yes, we're in our individual sections, but collectively, we are a collective. If we do not act as a collective, then this country will falter. If everyone didn't pay into the tax system, if everyone didn't agree with the societal rules, there would be no America or no country at all. We would be in anarchy. So if we have to agree on those levels, that there needs to be a level of cooperation for us to function properly as a society, then the corporations need to understand that we fund you by our purchases and being interested in your product. So you need to give back to the community. It makes you a billionaire. That's my opinion. It's not socialism. It's communityism. It's everybody understanding that we all play a part, including these extremely wealthy people who become wealthy off of our purchases and our interest in their product. It's really weird. They feel they can get rich off of regular people and they don't have to donate anything back, to the point where they're willing to go to China or willing to go to some other country, Mexico, South America, anywhere they don't got to pay the same amount of taxes, or anywhere where they don't have to pay a living wage. You know, $15 an hour? Nah, I'd rather pay $2 an hour. I understand that. But if you're going to make money from here, you need to contribute back, and you still will be wealthy. You know, come on now. It's ridiculous that they don't even see it that way. But, sorry, a little bit of socialism for you on your Friday night. Keeping it 100%. Have a great one.